hunter and outdoorsman and stuff, and
Yeah.
we like dogs and all that. But we used to ride horses all the time, man. Like my hobby in high school and stuff was trail riding, drinking some beers and hanging out. And, you know, everybody wanted to hang out with us and come ride and stay in tents and hang out and stuff. But eventually I became a horse farrier, which is someone that, like a blacksmith that puts shoes on horses.
Okay.
So I can still do that. That's a craft you don't unlearn. It's a very skilled trade. So, you know, I started as an apprentice for a gentleman that I still go and visit today. His name's Donnie Payne. And
Awesome.
Donnie's been a horse farrier, like, I don't know, for like 80 years or something crazy. But Donnie's a good guy. He helped me as a young man, a very young man. I was still in high school when I started doing that. I think I was 17. That's when I first started. And then, you know, I stayed doing that well into my mid 20s. But yeah, that was another huge income source for me. Was, you know, after training with Donnie and helping Donnie on all his routes, he kind of helped me get started, and I started doing it on my own. So, you know, I was marketing, running another business, you know, all of that stuff. And
Yeah.
it was funny because even back then I would say to myself, I was like, I'm a business person first and a horse farrier second. Because, you know, like, that's a grueling job. Like, I mean, I still have scars all over my hands. And, you know, back then I was in super shape. You wouldn't want to mess with it. But now I got a little bigger belly, but my back feels better. I'll tell you that. Because when you spend that much time holding a horse up, man, your back starts to hurt. And it was just very physical. But, you know, my point with that is that was just another huge business in my life for me as a young adult. And horses were really good to me. It made me, you know, a lot of money back then. And when I say a lot of money, it's nothing compared to what we
Sure.
talk about now. But as a really not a kid, but, you know, you're 20 years old and
Yeah.
you have your own stuff going on, man. Like it almost felt like I was unstoppable. And, you know, so it was just really cool. You know, I started breaking and training horses after a while because I was at so many different barns that needed a rider, needed help. And at my dad's house, we had a barn. My sisters had always been breaking and training horses with dad. And just when I was younger, I was so involved in sports, I didn't get to really be as much part of that except for the fun stuff like the trail riding. So when I got older, obviously I'm not playing sports anymore and stuff. That's when I started really learning from them, you know, how to be successful at breaking a horse. And so that was cool, man. Like people paid me to take their horses, and all I did was ride all the time and hang out like I like to do. So it's just the same concept of now, you know, finding something you enjoy doing and getting paid to do it. It never felt like
100%.
work, you know. People were handing me
100%.
$600 like up front every month, and as a young man, that 600 went really, really far. Especially when you got 3 or 4 horses at once. But
Yeah.
yeah,
And it sounds like, you know, we're both lucky now because we know, you know, this is what we want to do, right? And it sounds like you've always been able to do that, right? With the different
yeah,
jobs. Like you've always enjoyed, you know, doing what you were doing at the time.
absolutely. And that freedom, man, that the thing we talk about all the time, and what I said, like my dad really instilled with me is that freedom of being able to do, you know, whatever I want when I want. And that's a huge driver for me. Like I enjoyed sitting down with a piece of paper and writing down projections for my business, writing down ideas. And if I went back and read some of them now, I'd be like, you're so dumb. You know what I mean? No, I'm just kidding. I would have helped me out. But like, it's just so funny because even on an elementary basis of running a
Yeah.
business, then like just the most simple formulas and stuff, dude, I just loved it. And I still do. I really,
Hmm.
really enjoy that side of anything. You could put me running any business and I'll look at those numbers and I'll enjoy it. You know, unless
Yeah.
it's a bad or harmful business that I don't
Yeah.
believe in.
Yeah. So you did the horse breaking and all of that. And I mean, you didn't always do your own thing, right?
No,
I mean,
so
I know you did a couple. I don't know how long were you at Best Buy for?
that's a great segue because
Yeah.
I after, you know, we sold the concession business, or I think I might even had it still for a while I worked there, but a good transition into what happened. Because I'll tell you, you know, briefly before I got into having my actual own businesses, like I saw what it was like when my dad was running his businesses, so I understood, and I understood the salesperson part, all that. But you know, as a kid, there's not much you can do. So I worked fast food jobs and stuff, and
Right.
you know, I always tried my best to be the best because that's my personality and attitude. I always want to be the best. But if somebody ever rubbed me the wrong way. It happened to me, like I said, I'll be brief on these ones, but when I was 17, I worked at White Castle, and one time there was like the supervisor or something, and he was like, I want you to take apart this stainless steel and scrub it. I was like, why? I'm like, I'm up here working. Why don't you do it? He said, because I don't want to. I said, okay. So I didn't do it, and I never went back to work. And the same week, I paid to rent a lot across the street from them, and I set up my concession equipment there. And I sold food at this abandoned gas station that I set up across. So when my general manager called me, and she was very sweet, she never was like that, but she called
Yeah,
me,
yeah.
and she said, "Hey, are you coming into work?" I said, "I don't think so, Paula. I'm not coming in today." And she said, "Well, why not?" I said, "Because I'm chasing the American dream."
Right across from your store.
Right across from your store. Yeah. So, that's just how I was. And then I had the same thing happen at Steak and Shake. And I actually, to the manager, I was just talking to him the other day. He's a great guy, but we were all growing up and stuff. And
Yeah.
kind of the same situation. Everyone else had the day off because we graduated the next day, and I didn't. I probably didn't prepare well to get that day off, but they had me working until like 2 a.m. or something. And I was like, hey man, we got lots of people here. I'm not really asking to leave now, but if I could leave by 11, I'd really appreciate it. And he like laughed and said no. So I was like, all right. I went and said bye to all my friends, and then I just took my apron and tossed it, and I said, I'll see you later. And I've never put in a 2 weeks notice in my life. But segueing into my Best Buy career, that when I think I was 18, I decided I'm not working for anybody else, and
Yeah.
that lasted until I was about to turn 21. So I had a good 3-year run of not working for anybody else, except maybe some farm jobs here and there, which were really cool. I might circle back to that later, but so I started working at Best Buy part-time. My brother had started working there before me, and he was successful at it. And so, from being an entrepreneur and all that, I ended up with a car that had a really high car payment. And yeah, if you can guess what kind of car it was a Dodge Charger. And I thought it was so cool, but my business was seasonal, even with the horses. Like once you hit wintertime, not very many people are calling you to come out there and trim their horses' hooves. So
Right.
they should, though. Tip: every 6 weeks, your horses should have their hooves trimmed. But so I started working at Best Buy with my brother, and we just both have that natural sales ability, and so we were both doing good. When I was first there, I'll be honest, like I kind of had an attitude because I didn't like working for someone else.
Well,
And
it was probably a hard adjustment.
it was. I had people that, and back then, I didn't have, like I said, once again, I have the same mindset. But back then, I measured it in like I made more money than the people that were telling me what to do, and they were talking down to me.
Yeah.
And I just hated it. It
Yeah.
made me mad. So my personality is to resist and fight back, and that's how it was. But like even through that, my talent still shone through, and it was just like impossible not to be a good salesperson for me. And so I just had a lot of fun when I was doing it, and I had a lot of fun at their expense, honestly. But I got to a point where my brother and I have won they call it the Achievers Award, and my brother has won that every year he's been there. I mean,
Oh, wow.
yeah, he's superb. And so we both went to Orlando, Florida.
Where do you guys think you got that gift from?
Oh
Just
my
being
God.
just growing up in it and
Dude,
being
so
around it, or
being around it. So like when we were growing up, my dad, it was called wheeling and dealing, because he had horses, dogs, guns, trailers, cars, everything. And I would sit there and, I'd watch my dad have an ad on Craigslist to sell something. And that was it. It was just buying stuff. We'd use it. And then when we didn't have a use for it anymore, he was selling it. And I mean, it was natural for my dad, and it came natural for us. And wheeling and
Yeah.
dealing, like, I'll never forget that. I still say it now. Like I'm wheeling and dealing. And I remember one time he took me to, it's like the Lucasville flea market. And I was 16 years old. And I had, obviously when you're there, like your guns are banded, they're unloaded and everything. But I was hustling a 9mm. And I remember like I was doing so well talking to people when they try to go down and stuff. Like my dad was listening, and he told me, he said, "Man, I'm really proud of you, and I'm proud of the way that you handle yourself like a man." And like that right there, I was like, I got a thing for this,
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, just being around my dad, man, he was such a natural salesperson. So
That's awesome.
fortunately, yeah, it came to us, man. But like I said, we went down to Florida for that trip, and I met someone who is still a mentor in my life now, and still a good friend. Shout out to Matt Fetterman in Hawaii. But he ran a different Best Buy store in Columbus, and it's funny that we met him in Florida instead of Ohio. But um, everybody wanted my brother to work for him. Everybody wanted my brother at their store because he was really good. And
Yeah.
basically, we got an offer. I didn't get the offer. My brother did down there. And, we both went up for an interview for a different spot to go to that store. And credit to my brother, just the same loyalty that he had, that we all have as a family. Basically, they said, look, your brother, talking about me to my brother. So your brother's
Yeah.
a wild card. Like he's good, but he's crazy. Basically is what they said. And they're like, I don't know if we can take a chance on him. And he said, if we don't hire your brother, will you still come here? And my brother said, no, it's us or nothing. I'm a package deal.
Wow.
And yeah, he got me in the door there in a full-time position. And I never let them down, like that. Cause at that point now I had a leader and Matt who took a chance on us, who, not only helped me develop as an employee, but helped me develop as a man and a human being. I could talk to him about anything, and I could be in
Do you
any situation and go to him for help.
do you think
And
it was maturity or the fact that he took the gamble on you, that you
it
then
was a gamble.
respected him, and you then respected him enough to to start to stay focused, right?
It was the gamble, man. It was that,
Yeah.
and that's the loyalty piece. Like
Right.
anybody that does right to me will always get my 100% and more in return. And that's helped me get where I am today. But he, he took that chance, and he was always good to me. He always helped me, and you know, it doesn't mean he always told me what I wanted to hear, but it was just it was another good mentor in my life. And
Yeah.
so, anyways, me and my brother just kept moving up and moving up. And then, we ended up working in a bunch of different stores and stuff and different leadership roles. And my claim to fame, like my knack at Best Buy, I was a home theater guy, but I just absolutely I had a name known across the company about my home theater and Magnolia sales skills. And it's because I was passionate about that stuff, man. Like I love music, and I like hearing it through amazing speakers. And, I would learn everything I could to give me knowledge to be the best salesperson and to teach my employees to be the best salespeople. And it was all about computers to me were boring. Stuff like that is boring because there's not really an experience or a picture that you're painting,
Sure.
whereas and you need that stuff. If you got a business or you got a job or you're going to school, you need a computer. So someone comes in there like, which one do I need? For home theater, you don't need that. You don't do that at all. So sitting there and telling somebody why they need an 86-inch TV with surround sound speakers all in the wall and stuff like that. Dude, I had sales over like 20 grand. Like all I want, just balling, man. And that was fun. It gave me that confidence and that swag and some structure in my sales.
Yeah.
I'm thankful for Best Buy because they really did help me develop my raw talent into the stone cold sales skills, man. And
Yeah.
understanding like the stuff I told you guys on one of our calls before, I use a lot of the stuff that I did there in real estate. And
Yeah.
just having that structured, the biggest thing that I learned is, for one, and this is something I had before, was always putting your client first, and it's about their experience. That's something, but I didn't have a word for it back then. It was just, for me, it was, you trust me to do a job for you, I'm going to make sure you get a great experience. But what they call it is a world-class experience. And so I try to bring a world-class experience even today. And a lot of that comes back to, for any tips for anybody out there, is just understanding the client. Like, not everybody is a one size fits all. Actually, nobody is. So when you are I will say I'm an empath, or whatever you say. Like, I have an extreme ability to empathize with someone, like just to put myself into their mind and their heart, and to feel what they feel. And that helped me significantly also. But taking the time to understand somebody and their needs, I get to know people better than they know what they need. And that's it right there. That's something that is helpful. But anyways, after working at a bunch of stores, and both of us having great success there and everything, I ended up getting promoted to the sales manager position at a smaller store, which I had never been in a small store. I had always been in the really large box,
Yeah.
Columbus stores. So I was busy, and I like, me, like I like that. Just turning it out, like,
Right.
nonstop.
The hustle, the
Yeah,
hustle.
hustle, fast pace. It was
Yeah.
weird going to a store where
The
the,
wheeling and dealing.
the wheeling and dealing, man. It was weird going to a store where sometimes there's only 100 people walk through or something like that. I'm like, what the hell is this? But, um, anyway, like I really liked being a leader. And that's something I've always been in sports and all as a leader. I truly enjoy that. That same fulfillment you get out of coaching and helping other people, I get
Yeah.
that as out of leadership. And this role was something I had dreamed of. I remember getting the call that my that was accepted, after my interview. I remember I was with my then girlfriend, who was now my wife, and our kids. We were getting ready to go to the zoo, and we're still renting a house and everything, and paying way too much for rent, and living the really the I don't want to say the fake American dream, because that is a good thing for a lot of
Sure,
people.
sure.
It wasn't my dream, I guess, and I thought it was for a while. I fell into a trap. I fell into that, moving from I'm never going to work from someone again, moving into now I have a career, and I have a structured everything, and you know what I mean. It was like caging a wild animal, and I
It
fell for it for a little bit.